Welcome back. Here with Affluence Financial Planning. And Affluence has a CRM that's built out pretty well now, but they really just need to start looking at their data. They're like some dashboards and reports, and we're going to work with Zoho Analytics for that. So let's go up here to our apps, Analytics. Now you should have viewed the first mini course on how to set up Zoho Analytics so that all of this data here is coming in right. Just a couple things to look at initially. We're going to collapse all of these. First, I already removed all of these default reports because there are so many, and most of them are really just clutter. Some of them might be good. Now, if you really want them, I mean, they should be in your account, right? I already deleted them. But here in the trash, you can see everything I've deleted that is going to be here for 45 days, and then it will be emptied out. So if you accidentally delete something, it's still there, no worries. But for now, this just looks so much cleaner than the, maybe even hundreds of default reports that were there to begin with. What really is important is the data that we have to work with so we can start building our own. Now, if I expand this, these are all the modules from the CRM. What is our business use case? Let's start with something pretty basic. We want a lead insights dashboard. So we're going to build a chart for leads to see how often and how many leads are coming into our system. And then with a couple of KPIs added to our dashboard that we can then look at every week, view our progress, and share with others. This is the Explorer tab, really useful. If I want to search for the leads spreadsheet, here it is. If I want to search for service reviews, here it is. If I want to search for invoices, regardless of which folder it is, invoices from Zoho Finance, there it appears. So this Explorer tab shows you everything, including charts and reports that we'll be making later in your system. This search bar right here, really useful. So for now, let's just go into the leads module, spreadsheet, I should say, and check it out. See what kind of data we have. Okay, here we are in the leads spreadsheet, which corresponds with the leads module in the CRM. So we have our, I guess here's just the last name, first name's somewhere around here, but it looks like we have 90 entries. Now, if we went to look in our CRM, you notice that there are not 90 entries. If you look at all leads, there are 77. Now, why is that? Because here in the leads module, we have this column called is converted. And if it's yes, it means those are converted leads that don't appear in the leads module, but you could actually find them under this public view called converted leads. You just can't click in and access any of these. If you tried to click into the Joker, it'd say, hey, this has already been converted. Look at these records here. So if you notice, the 13 plus the 77 adds up to 90. Now I believe when we set up the integration with analytics, we included all the fields. So this includes every single field. Each field is a column. Each row is a record. These here, these numeric fields, these are the Zoho unique 19-digit IDs. So this modified by, this is the ID of a user, and this created by is the ID of a user. Next call date, follow-up date, modified time, activity time, address information. We have so much in here. Now this in itself is not super helpful if you just wanted to come to this spreadsheet and find information like, oh, I want to count how many people are interested in creating a will or something like that. The spreadsheet itself is not super useful, but all of these sheets, which are in the Explorer tab that we can see here, deals, service reviews, tasks, users, etc. These are all the base tables upon which we build the really cool charts and reports. So go ahead and look around, familiarize yourself with that idea of CRM information syncing to analytics, fields as columns, records as rows. And then that understanding is really key to starting to build these reports. Okay, a few more options for ways to customize and work with this spreadsheet. First, check this out, found the first name. If I scroll over here to the last name, it's not like super helpful if they're that far apart. So this button right here in the top left, show hide reorder columns. Looks like we have all of these currently selected, but if I go down to first name, I can then drag this up towards the top and put it right in front of last name. I can maybe deselect the ID, deselect, like a lot of this stuff. Anyway, if I don't need a lot of these, then I can really start to clean it up. If you click OK, those changes will be implemented. And then you'll see the first name appear next to last name. Some of those columns will disappear, but they will all be accessible when you are still creating reports and charts. So no need to worry about where that data is going. You're not deleting it. If you want to add a filter or just be filtering the data while you're looking at it, you can click on create new filter and you can actually create a predefined filter. Or if you just want to filter it like at once, by last name contains something or is something, looks like it finally updated. So now here we have the first name and the last name. But if you want last name is equal to, starts with, is empty, etc., or if you want to go look at a numeric field, like the total net worth, you could do is greater than, less than, etc. So the filters are different for each kind of data. For example, a date field would be is after, between, etc. Those are the filters you can do. You can also search the data. Like if I wanted to search for anyone whose name was Moses, then it would search every single cell. And if a single cell has the value of text Moses, then that entire record will appear. So this one right here from Moses Weiss, looks like he's the only one whose name is Moses. One more option, we'll talk about that in the next video, adding formula column. Okay, one thing I've found that's really useful that a lot of clients like is when you build a report in analytics, having a column, something they can click on that immediately links them back to either the record in Zoho Finance or the record in Zoho CRM. That is really useful. So we are going to add a formula column. Aggregate formulas, we'll talk about those in a later course, but for now, a formula column, think of this as pretty similar to an Excel formula. We'll just say link to CRM. Now, what we want to do, here is a list of all your functions that you can use. And you can also, group them out. Then here's a list of all the columns that you can use. So we want to use the concatenate function. So if we click on this, concatenate, and then let's go to leads. We'll just click on Alexander Hamilton. And here is our base URL. So we're going to select that, copy that, and then the base URL for the leads module is always followed by what? The lead ID, that unique 19-digit ID that Zoho has for that specific record. So once I've copied the base URL in single quotes, I'm going to put it there and then do a comma and then do the just the ID. So the lead ID. And then once I concatenate that, that essentially just creates a link to the record in the CRM. I'll just give it a name there. Once I save this and I can go, it'll probably appear at the bottom, link to CRM. I can drag it up to the top, maybe next to the last name. And once I do that, if you select the column right now, like I can't click on this, it doesn't do anything. But if I select the column, click change data type, which there are all these other options, feel free to play around with them. But click change data type and I want it to be a URL. Doing that, let's see, let's choose one, maybe Deacon Potter. So once that saves, if I click on, where'd he go? Deacon Potter. If I click on this, see how it's now hyperlinked? This will take me directly to Deacon Potter's lead record in the CRM, which if he's not converted, I will be able to view. So that's a pretty cool feature that you can use formula columns, not just for concatenations and creating URLs, but you can also do a lot of other things, add, subtract, all your mathematical functions, and some other things you can perform as well. So that's enough for the leads module. Let's get building reports and dashboards. So now that we've customized this lead spreadsheet a little bit, let's build something new. This big create button right here, become your best friend, new chart view. And then you have to select the table from which you want to build something like your base table, right? So click OK. We want to build it with the leads spreadsheet. Give it a name up here and then save it to a folder of your choice. And then here you have options for all the different fields that you can drag into this builder here. So if we wanted to, let's do something like lead source. We could group all of these by lead source and then maybe ID. And what would that do? Remember, ID is a 19-digit unique number, so we don't want to sum that up. But what we could do is a distinct count. So if we want to count the IDs, that's a way of like counting the records. Then lead source is it's a categorical variable. It looks like we haven't been very good at tracking the lead source. So right now there are 86 unknowns and 4 from web research. But this gives you an idea of how the builder works, right? You can have a variable for your x-axis, one for your y. You have different options here, like do you want to count? Do you want, you want to group it, categorize it, represent it with all sorts of different ways there. Then what you could do is you could throw your lead source in here as a filter and say, I want to include only those that are known, so either include them, or I want to exclude, toggle this here, those that are unknown. And then if I were to do that, all of a sudden I would just have, 4 for web research. Now this in itself is not very useful, right? But we're just kind of playing around with this, showing you the builder for these charts. In fact, here, we have a pie chart. You can get rid of this filter, and it'll show that very few of ours are even known. We could do a line chart. That's actually not super helpful because it doesn't give you the right idea. Scatter chart. So bar chart's probably the best for this, right? But lots of different options that you can use. Next video, we'll actually build something that will be useful to us. But play around with this, look at it, look at these settings, and we'll go a little bit more in depth in these coming videos. So what we actually want to do is create a timeline of new leads. In fact, let's go ahead and make that our title of our chart. Now, how would we do that? This distinct count of ID is still good, right? We want to count how many new records do we have coming in, but we don't want the lead source. Let's go down to created time. So this is a Zoho default timestamp for when the record was created. So that's a pretty good measure of when these leads came in. You can either group it by year, by quarter, anyway, any number of these things. Let's do it by we'll just do it by month and year for now. That being the default, let's click here to generate this. And there are gaps here you can see from May to September. So let's do a line chart, and that might be a little bit better. Now this is not what a normal business might look like. Looks like we had 3 in April, 68 in May, and we didn't have another one until September, 14. But the data is accurate. We did a big import of leads, a while back, had some new ones in the last couple months. And so this is useful, right? This is accurate. It's showing us what we wanted. Now a couple more things that you can do to make this look a little bit prettier. You can rename the axes. So we can do lead generated. Actually, let's just go month, and we'll do lead count. We'll do a new lead count. And then if we click this here, show corresponding y-axis values, this can be really useful. Lots of other things. You can edit the colors, the borders. Maybe you want to change this to green. Edit the format, threshold, apply. So lots of different things we can do. That's a little bit more useful, right? Showing how many, when it happened, month. Our axes are now labeled correctly. Last thing we want to do is save this. Now, I would recommend not saving it in your data files. Just not best practice. Best to just keep the simple raw data in those and create a new folder for your leads dashboard reports, or just lead reports, right? You can make it default if you want, give it a description. Okay. So this is now saved. We can exit out of it and it'll still be there. So way to go, you created your first report. Now let's go make a dashboard. So we exited out of that report, but it's still there, no worries. Now your favorite button again. This time we want to create a dashboard. Now this dashboard, let's name it Lead Insights, and then save it to, it's not raw data, it's not a dashboard report. So let's do another new folder and name it Dashboards. And this is where we can just simply locate all of the dashboards that we build, the various courses, practice, experimentation that you undertake. So we don't want to make it default. We don't want to create it under anything. It'll just be its own folder. Oh, I forget, you can't actually save it yet. So drag and drop the views. This is where you can access, you can actually drag whole spreadsheets in here if you find that useful. But hey, check this out, timeline of new leads. We can drag that in here, and this is our report that we just created. So now we can save this dashboard, Lead Insights, Dashboards is our folder, okay. Now this entire dashboard is saved. You don't have to worry about it being lost. If you exit out of it, it's just there. So this is how you create a new one. And in the next videos, we'll talk about other options for customizing it, how to add KPIs, other reports, lots more to do. Okay, let's walk through some basic dashboard customization. You can add some text if you want, like welcome, the most insightful dashboard you've seen. Select all that, and we want this to be way bigger. And anyway, you get the idea. You can insert images or emojis or quotes or lots of other things. We're just going to insert that there. And this is all just drag and drop, which is really nice. You can resize these things. So I can make this cover the whole length of the page, which is also nice. I can add an image. I choose to upload my escritorio. Hey, look at that, lead. Oh, maybe that's not the right kind of lead. Is that lead? Pencil lead. Whatever, but you get the idea. You can, correct myself up. You can add pictures, whatever, to just like really customize your dashboard, make it really user-friendly for whoever you're going to share it with. The next thing we'll talk about is widgets in the next video. Actually, might as well just show you what this looks like. If you drag an entire spreadsheet in here, and then you make it bigger, essentially it's just a view to that spreadsheet. So nothing too special. And then if you click on view mode, you can look at, what does this dashboard look like? Hey, look, there's our lead. When you're in the view mode, welcome to the most insightful dashboard you've ever seen. That's what it looks like. So play around with this, edit it, customize it how you want it. Next video, we'll talk about widgets. Okay, talking about widgets. Just click up here to add widget. A lot of people know these as KPIs, benchmarks, other stuff like that. Now, you can choose which kind of widget you're looking for. These all have their different kind of use cases. For now, we'll just do a simple one. And then you choose your data column. Now, this is interesting. This gives you access to any column in any base table in all of your workspace. But we want to work in the leads module, the lead spreadsheet. So go ahead and search leads. And then what are you going to do with those columns, with those fields? Last time you can do a count, a distinct count. You can do a, like if you searched for net worth, you could do total net worth and you could sum it up. In fact, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's do total net worth. Group by, you can group by something if you want. But for now, filters. Yeah, let's do converted. So if they're converted, and then what will we title this? We'll do net worth of converted leads. So then it shows you, gives you a preview of what that might look like. If you want to add a little bit of color to your dashboard, go ahead and click apply. And then that's pretty good. $11 billion just in those 13 converted leads. Affluence Financial is doing well. So let's just do one more. This time we'll same thing, do it from the leads module, ID, count, and distinct count doesn't really matter with IDs because all the IDs are distinct. But go ahead and do a count of the IDs and then the filter. If we're interested in creating one for, are you interested in creating a will? Yes, so we want a count of everyone, every record that has marked I am interested in creating a will. And then let's do for those that aren't converted. So no, so we'll do, how do we title this? Leads interested in creating a will. And that is a good estimate because of our filters, right? They are interested in creating a will and they aren't converted. So that's why we title it leads interested in creating a will. You can drag these around, make them bigger, rearrange them. We want our title to be on top. Another quick thing, if you click on options for a lot of these, you have some cool stuff. Want to include a search box, then you can easily search the deals like that. But really, I want to remove this because this is our lead insights dashboard. So now when we click save, we have our title, 2 KPIs, timeline of the leads, the lead in our pencil, and then we can view it. And really, we're pretty close. So well done up to here. Now that we did that, let's take a look at how this looks in review mode. So here we have it. We have our net worth of converted leads. Leads interested in creating a reel. These are our widgets. Welcome to the most insightful dashboard you've ever seen. Timeline of new leads and our picture of some nice lead. So this can obviously be customized. Hopefully by now you've already started experimenting, playing on your own. Create some more widgets, create some more charts. Up here with the share tab, you have a lot of options to email it to people, share it with people. We'll talk more specifically about that in future courses that are a little more advanced. You can set different themes, settings, comments, export, a lot of cool things you can do. Zoho Analytics, really extensive app, lots of things you can do. So many more courses to come. I'll tell you a secret. This is not the most insightful dashboard you will have ever seen, because by the end of some of these other courses, you will have built far better dashboards. So get excited, but for now, play around, and well done. Way to build your first dashboard.